Hi, I'm Mario Correa, Wills and Trust Attorney, and today a couple of issues came up that I want to make sure the public understands, and they have to do with Medicaid liens and how liens work and how they work and the distinction between liens and foreclosing the lien. Because there are certain rules that people are reading on the internet and certain information they're getting wrong, and I want to make sure that you understand it correctly. First, what is a Medicaid lien? Well, when you apply for Medicaid and you have a principal residence called what's an exempt asset, which means you'll qualify for Medicaid. Medicaid is relevant because if you're in a nursing home for any extended period of time, they will dissipate your estate because they'll be charging you $7,000-8,000 a month, and to get down to zero in assets, you can almost imagine 1, 2, 3 years you're going to wipe out most estates, and you'll still qualify if you have a house. But you have to understand, even if you have a house, they're still going to place a lien. Medicaid can still place a lien on your asset. And what people don't understand when they're looking online and trying to figure this out is what a lien is versus foreclosing a lien. Because the information that's out there is people think that the Medicaid won't do anything if there's a spouse, because that's what the law says, won't do anything if you have somebody under age 21 living in the house, or won't do anything if you have an adult child, and that adult child is taking care of the parent to such an extent that they've kept them out of nursing home for 2 years. So basically in those conditions, yeah, that's correct, kind of. So let me explain how the distinction between lien and foreclosing on a lien. Okay. Now, the problem is most people don't understand what a lien is. So I'm going to explain something simple. You have to understand what real estate title looks like. So real estate title is basically, we look at the history of the property and the history of ownership. So the deeds show ownership. So basically, the way you'd see a property is person A gives it to person B, that's deed 1. Deed 2 is person B gives it to person C, that's deed 2. Deed 3 would be person C gives it to person D. And you would literally see 3 deeds in the history or the chain of title. And in between those dates, when that occurs, you probably find some mortgages. So you'll see a mortgage from person A to person B. Person B takes out a mortgage, and then when they give it to person C, there's a release of that first mortgage, and then you'll see a second mortgage. Mortgages, once again, are pieces of paper. So what are you seeing? You're seeing deed, mortgage, release, deed, mortgage, release. And those are the documents you'll find in the Cook County Recorder of Deeds office. And they're literally physical pieces of paper that are designating those changes and those rights and those shifts. A lien is much like a mortgage. It literally is a piece of paper that Medicaid will file against the property, and it'll be a lien. And what it'll say, it's almost like a home equity line. It's like whatever we spend on for benefits, you're going to need, this will be a lien on this property. So while a principal residence is exempt, and you will qualify for Medicaid, and especially if you have an able-bodied spouse that's not institutionalized, that person will be able to keep the property. There's the lien, but then there's foreclosure. So I have lien, and so the step 1 is you do the lien, and then step 2, so I'll call this step 1, and then step 2, once you have a lien, you have a foreclosure, and these rules about spouse, minor, or adult child plus 2 years of help. These exceptions are exceptions to foreclosure. They're not exceptions to liens. The lien is still there. All that happens is the lien of your Medicaid bill will be delayed until one of these people die or they do an event that would trigger the lien. So let's say that one of these individuals, you give it to your spouse, and your spouse sells the property, they'll have to make good on that lien. You give it to an adult child. An adult child's living there in the house with you and took care of you after you pass, and the adult child moves and wants to sell the property, you trigger the lien. If they don't do anything, Medicaid says, yeah, we won't foreclose on you, but once that child dies or has another event like moving or selling or taking out a loan, then you'll have to make good on that lien like you would have to make good on a mortgage. So when you're planning, there are strategies to help protect the principal residence, and we can help you with those strategies. So if you have questions about that, or you could potentially be in a long-term care situation, give me, Mario Correa, a call at 773-489-8500.